What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and this is another Hip Hop Now podcast bonus episode brought to you by the producers of this podcast over at patreon.com/hiphopnow. And if you enjoyed this podcast or other episodes you've heard on this stream because you subscribed, like, yeah, I kind of like this, please, I implore you, become a supporter, a producer of this podcast, because you receive bonus materials, but also you are directly responsible for the ongoing hip-hop weekly content I produce. And it's only about to get better. Now, so like 4 years ago, shout out to the homie Kill. I appeared on his podcast, Apartment 5B, and based off a list by Complex, we did our own version of the list of like the best rapper of that year. And Complex's list was basically that, right? The best rapper alive every year since 1979. Now, obviously, we looked at some of those years and we were like, I don't know, maybe, yeah, no, this is true, nah, that's whack, whatever. And it was fun, but that was 4 years ago. So in January of 2022, Complex put out an updated list. Now, I did not see this list, but I see it now. And what I'm gonna do for you is I am going to play judge and jury, meaning I'm going to approve or disapprove who is the best rapper alive for each year. Now, we're not going to be long-winded. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. 1979 was a very long time ago. I do not want to be here all night, and I don't want you to be here all night, all day, or wherever it is where you at. If you're from the future, get your ass out of here. But you know what I mean. So let's get right into it. And if you're young, and I say a name, and you have no idea who it is, just Google it. Change your life. 1979, Grandmaster Caz. I approve. Grandmaster Caz, when you listen to him from back in the days, you hear the origins of bars in his flow, in his confidence, in his wordplay. Trust me, the man was nasty. 1980, Curtis Blow. Definitely approved. Curtis Blow was the man. 1981, Kool Moe Dee. I don't know about that, but maybe. They have down credentials, bodied Busy Bee at the Harlem World Christmas Rappers Convention. Okay, we can approve that one. Well, hold up really quick. They have honorable mentions: Love Bug Starsky, T-Sky Valley, and Shyrock. Yeah, that one belongs to Kool Moe Dee. 1982, Melly Mel. I don't think this can be debated. The Message. That's all we got to say. 1983, Run. Absolutely, hands down, of course. Let's just see who they have as honorable mentions. Melly Mel, Jimmy Spicer, and Ramalazy. What, Ramalazy? Old heads, y'all gonna have to tell. Old heads, triple OGs, quadruple OGs. Y'all gonna have to tell me who that is, because I know hip hop, but I don't know enough. 1984 is Run Again. Yes, of course, Run was the man. Don't sleep, Run DMC. Let's see who his competition was in 84. LL Cool J, too young to take Run's throne. Curtis Blow. Run had way too much swag by then. Roxanne Shante, nah, no way. Overrun? Nope. 1985, LL Cool J, you better believe the GOAT started at that point in time. He took the crown. 1986, KRS-One, without a doubt. KRS-One came out of nowhere. That's what it felt like back then, and I was a kid. So let's see who the honorable mentions were for that year. Run, of course. Too Short, but Too Short would have been more like KRS-One was a rookie, so, Schoolie D. 1987, Rakim, without a doubt, Do Not Play With Me. This list is going to change dramatically after seeing Rakim on here, because this is when it became the extension of what Grandmaster Caz kind of sprinkled there, right? With the bars. But everybody before that, including LL Cool J, rap with that, yes, yes, y'all, and you don't stop. It's Mo D in the black. Nah, not when Rakim came out. Too much. Way too much. Let's see who the runner-ups were for 87. KRS-One, LL Cool J, Kumo D. Approved. 1988, Slick Rick. The whole year? Nah, Great Adventures of Slick Rick. Undeniable classic. It had to be. Let's see what the runner-up for that was. Chuck D, Ice Cube, and Big Daddy Kane. True that. 1989. Who Flat Top Rules in 89? Warm it up, Kane. Yeah, Big Daddy Kane. Do not debate me. He from the borough. You know what it is. Cool G Rap was a run-up. 1990 Ice Cube, without a doubt. People don't understand. NWA was already a monster by itself, and Ice Cube was a part of the group. When he left the group, this dude went probably 4 straight albums without getting whack. 1990 was Ice Cube, for sure. LL Cool J has been in the honorable mention every time. But guess who else is in honorable mention for 1990? Grand Puba. 1991, Q-Tip. I don't know. Q-Tip, really? Low End Theory was released. So that does make sense. So 91, let's see who. Runner-up for 1991, Scarface, Tretch, Drez. Yeah, Tip. Y'all don't understand. Tribe Called Quest was a monster. 1992, Redman. Yeah. I will give it to Redman. Redman was something new, something never heard of before. But the next year, Snoop Doggy Dogg, for sure. I don't care who else dropped. Snoop Dogg was so highly anticipated at that point in time. It was crazy. 93 was definitely his year. I don't care what dropped. We know. The Woo was out. But Snoop was bigger than Method Man, Tretch, and Q-Tip, who were all runner-ups, and they all had dope albums. 94, Nas. Now, we already know that was the year Illmatic dropped. Nothing like it. It's sort of like landmarks in hip-hop, right? How I mentioned with Rakim came out, it just felt like the course of hip-hop changed. Same thing with KRS-One. It was like, yo, he's just different. Same thing with Nas. There was nothing like Nas. He was familiar, but he was new, and he was different. Let's see who was a runner-up then. You know who was a runner-up. The Notorious B.I.G., of course. Scarface and Redman. Damn, it got to be a year Scarface kind of. Let's just see. 1995, the Notorious B.I.G., without a doubt. The minute that Flavor in Your Air remix hit, I was like, he's the biggest rapper, and he ain't even got an album out yet. Without a doubt. Album dropped in 94, by the way. Runner-up, Raekwon, Only Built for Cuban Links. Prodigy, you already know. And Tupac. But guess what? In 96, 96 belongs to Tupac. I'm sorry, 96 belongs to Pac. And remember, 96, like we calling Pac the top rapper in 96. Tupac did so much, and it all happened in 96. People forget. All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli both dropped that same year. Everything happened that year with Tupac. Not just his murder. Don't be that guy. But so many classic albums dropped in 96, especially the summer of 96, right? So many classic albums. The Fugees, The Score was out, right? Tribe had a new album. Wasn't crazy, but it was okay. Jay-Z debuted. Nas was back. Well, It Was Written, the album some people say is better than Illmatic. But 96 belonged to Pac. You can't really dispute that. He took the crown that year. 97, the Notorious B.I.G., without a doubt. And you can say, I'm a rapper with clout, everybody. All right. You can say, right? Oh yeah, that was the year he died. Man, when Life After Death dropped, it was more, it's the same thing with Pac, right? You hear that music he was working on, and it's just a tragedy to hear it. Bad Boy was running 97, and Biggie was leading the charge, whether he was here or not, whether you like that album better than Ready to Die or not. It's about to get interesting with these next years. 1998, DMX, without a doubt, you cannot debate this. DMX, Rough Riders, was running hip-hop in 98. That is accurate. And it was time for him to have his time. Jay-Z in 1999, absolutely. Jay-Z became the guy you know at that point. He just went to another level, and he was dropping hit after hit after hit, album every year. Honorable mentions for that year, DMX, Eminem, and Nas. 2000, Eminem. Y'all can't deny that. We said it before. Landmarks. My bad, do say that. We said it before. Landmarks in hip-hop. Eminem is such a polarizing figure in hip-hop. People didn't know whether to hate him, like him, call him weird, whatever, but you could not deny. And don't let Lord Jamar fool you into thinking it was only white people, because it was not. Now, granted, sure, you're not like, if you're about to work out, you don't want to hear nobody dumping their baby moms in the trunk. And then some of these rappers that we know are kind of hypocrites, right? They talk about, yo, why would you disrespect your baby moms, when we know hip-hop without any white people can be very misogynistic. So, sure, you're not murdering them, but you are abusive. Whatever. But we know 2000 is Eminem. I remember one dude said, yeah, Vegas be kind of low-key taking up for Eminem. What did he do to you? That's all I got to say. Let's see with 2000, who was the honorable mentions? Jay-Z. Yeah, I would debate on a hip-hop scale. This is one of those complex picks where you're like, Eminem gets it because he was probably the most successful out of everybody in 2000. But was he the best? Jay-Z was pretty strong in these streets in 2000, and Ghostface Killer dropped Supreme Clientele. I'm just saying. 2001, Jay-Z, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Now, if we want to keep it funky, right? It's easy to say that I think this was the peak of Jay-Z's career. The Blueprint, that was like the hottest he could get, right? The Summer Jam stuff with bringing Michael Jackson out, the Blueprint comes out, samples are back. Jay-Z was king in 2001, but Ether also released in 2001. But it didn't knock him off his throne. So I would give it that. Honorable mention gotta be Nas. Whoa, honorable mention 2001 is not Nas? Wow. Eminem, Ludacris, and Jadakiss. This is a lie. 2002, oh man, my screen just literally reset. 2002, also Eminem. People gotta understand, Eminem had a hell of a run in the early 2000s, man. Everyone will agree on this, whether you like Eminem or not. His first 3 albums, that run was just ridiculous for him, right? Regardless of the singles, those playground singles, them goofy singles that they would drop. But he was dropping some heat on those albums too, and some of those songs came out, but who knows or who cares? I'm trying to get back to the list since it reset itself. So 2002 is Eminem. 2003, 50 Cent, without a doubt. 50, another landmark. 50 Cent came out and in a lot of ways shifted the game to the point it is today. I know that feels really blasphemous to say, but you talking about bringing hardcore rap like DMX did back to the mainstream in a major way. Also, a New York cat who he uses a lot of Southern, West Coast, and all kinds of other slang, singing, all kinds of stuff. It's a landmark in hip hop. Let's see if Ja Rule is one of the runner-ups. Honorable mention, Jay-Z, Eminem, and T.I. And Eminem and Jay-Z, boy. They were hanging in there tough. 2004, T.I. I could agree with that. I think Trap Music is T.I.'s best album. I think it's the best sample of what's dope about T.I. from a commercial level and from, underground level. 50, Cameron, and Game were the honorable mentions. 2005, Jeezy. Yeah, man, I can't deny it. I wasn't the biggest fan of Jeezy back then, but it was unavoidable. Old heads, young heads, everybody was just into it. 2006, Lil Wayne, without a doubt. Lil Wayne came out of nowhere. I mean, they were even saying he was better than Jay-Z at that point in time. That was definitely his year. 2007, Kanye West. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think even in some ways before then, well, maybe not running hip-hop, but 2007 was around the time of Graduation, which is my favorite Kanye West album. But that when people say they want the old Ye back, they're talking about those albums from back then. 2008, Lil Wayne, absolutely. I mean, Carter 3 was out. This was probably the peak of his career for sure. 2009, Jay-Z. Now, this one is suspect. Credentials, Blueprint 3, first number one hit of his career. No one goes back and ever listens to Blueprint 3. A lot of people I knew didn't even like it, and I liked it, and I never go back to it. It sounds so cheesy from that time, even though I liked it back then. But it was a big album for him. I feel like the other people on the list are Kanye West, Drake, and Gucci Mane. I think Kanye could still take that. Drake wasn't as big as he eventually became. 2010, Kanye West. Look, man, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, one of the greatest albums of all time. The production is impeccable. I mean, I'm using words like impeccable. I'm saying it is just one of the greatest albums ever. Honorable mentions, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, and Eminem. Eminem's still crazy. 2011, Drake. Do Not Fight It. Yes. And this man is probably on this list more than once. Just keep it funky. 2012, Drake. Yeah, man. I mean, the dude couldn't miss, man. He just couldn't miss. Runner-ups, Kendrick Lamar, 2 Chainz, Rick Ross. Now, I know, Good Kid, Mad City. Drake don't have an album like that. He don't even have a run of albums that are great in the way that Kendrick does. But Drake was running hip-hop. We cannot deny that. 2013, Kendrick Lamar, of course. Of course. I mean, the man was killing it. Let's see, runner-ups for him, Drake, Danny Brown, and 2 Chainz. 2014, Nicki Minaj. The Pink Print was out. I think there was a point in time where Nicki Minaj was like the rapper at that point in time. I said rapper, not MC. Her honorable mentions, Killer Mike, Drake, and Young Thug. I think the only one, if you were to argue, you would say Drake is bigger than her. But I think she did have her time on the throne. Oh man, yo, this thing reset again. That's how long this joint is. The next year was 2015, Drake. I'm telling y'all, I mean, if there's anybody who would be on this list more than once, it is this dude. He's just had way too many runs at the top, being the biggest star, being the biggest rapper, getting the most attention, dropping. I mean, he just did. But, let's see who the honorable mentions were at that time, because I feel like this is sort of controversial. Future, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole. I think this was the year To Pimp a Butterfly had dropped. And I'm sorry, Drake had singles, but Kendrick K. Dot had the album. And this is kind of whack that he didn't have that year, but I think it was a tie, honestly. 2016, Chance the Rapper. I mean, you got to give it to him, man. Coloring Book was very dope. Arguably the only great album he's ever had. And he had a hell of a run off of that one album that was basically a mixtape. Kendrick Lamar, 2017, for Damn. Yeah. I mean, It makes sense. Kendrick Lamar dropped Damn, and it just dominated everything, and his performances and everything was just dope about it. I even did a review for it, so no debating that. Pusha T 2018, yeah, man. I mean, if you take down the dude who is listed on this list 3 times at the top, in the same vein as, Jay-Z? I think Jay-Z had 3 spots. Lil Wayne had 2. Nas had 1. That's sort of criminal, but whatever. But Pusha T, dissing Drake, it was his year. 2019. Wait, did we do 2018? Was that Pusha T? Yeah, that was Pusha T. Losing place. 2019, The Baby. Absolutely. This man dominated 2019 pre-pandemic, and it was crazy. Let's see 2019 honorable mentions. That'll be interesting. Where is it? Young Thug, Benny the Butcher, Freddie Gibbs. None of them were bigger than The Baby in 2019. 2020, Lil Baby. You might as well give him 2 years because I feel like this dude is on top by default. 2021, Tyler, the Creator. It's amazing that they would give him that year, considering it's off the strength of one album. That album was that great. It won a Grammy. It came out of nowhere. It was dope. So there you have it. That is Complex's list of the best rapper alive from each year. Do you agree? Are you mad because Cannabis didn't show up once? Not saying he should. But nevertheless, when you go down that list, you kind of get the vibe, right? It's a little bit of a popularity contest. Those earlier years, you could tell it's more about skill and dominance. But when it came to popularity, I think that started when you see like Run show up on a list. He had 2 years, and then it's, you can argue that LL Cool J might have been a better rapper than Run, but Run was killing it for 2 years, man. And it's just a lot of dope here. It does seem kind of weird not to give Nas more than 1 year. Like, Drake makes sense, Lil Wayne makes sense, Kanye makes sense, Jay-Z makes sense, Biggie makes sense, Tupac makes sense, because Tupac year was 96. He dropped other albums, but none of those years I felt like it belonged to him. The Wu didn't get a year. Interesting. And they gave Q-Tip a year, not A Tribe Called Quest, Q-Tip. That one's kind of debatable as well. So nevertheless, there it is. If you like this episode, subscribe to this podcast, share it with people you know like this kind of content. If you would like to become a producer of this podcast and support the production of this podcast and get bonus content like this, visit patreon.com/hiphopnow. And if that's so quick, too much for you to catch, write down, type on your phone, whatever, just click the link in the description of this episode. Until next time, y'all, I am not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.